Summary of 3-Day Road by Joseph Boyden. For many days, Niska hides in the woods outside of Moose Factory, waiting for Elijah Whiskey Jack, her nephew Xavier's best friend and the closest thing Niska has to a family, to return from World War I. Xavier and Elijah both joined the war together. While Niska heard that Xavier had been killed in fight, Elijah is on his way back today on the train. Niska comes to Moose Factory to take Elijah back to the bush. Niska raised Xavier and sometimes Elijah in the old way, away from Moose Factory and the Wamistica European people. A lot of Wamistica are in one place, which is strange for Niska. As she goes down the street, they all stop and stare at the Indian animal straight out of the bush. Elijah is not on the train when it gets to Moose Factory. Xavier, Niska's nephew, gets off the train instead. He was hurt very badly in the war, and his left leg was cut off. Xavier trips and falls when he sees Niska. "Taunt, I heard you were dead," he says. Niska wrote Xavier a letter during the war, but she had to dictate it through a local Cree man named Joseph Netmaker. Because Joseph's English was so bad, he thought Niska had died. Niska is happy to hear that her nephew, whom she thought was dead, is alive and back from the war. She quickly leads him to her ready boat. They will be back home after 3 days of traveling down the river to the bush. Niska can see that Xavier isn't feeling well. Niska thinks he has come home to die because he has a fever and something far worse is consuming him. Xavier is in a lot of pain, both physically and emotionally, and he injects himself with morphine all the time. He can't stay away from the Wamistica medicine, and he will soon run out. With his eyes closed, Xavier lets the morphine take him back to the French lines, where German bombs and bullets fly by his head. He is back in his backyard with Elijah. "Where is Elijah now?" he asks. Xavier and Sergeant McCon are both curious. One of the snipers, Sean Patrick, is at his post, and Gray Eyes, who is his lookout, is close. The morphine that the Wamisakashi gave Gray Eyes makes his eyes look glassy and far away, so Xavier knows that he has taken some. All of a sudden, someone hits Sean Patrick in the throat. There is blood and chaos everywhere. Being sick or scared as a kid, Niska's father would often read her stories. To save Xavier, Niska turns to stories. She starts to talk about their relatives and Niska's father, who lived before Xavier was born. Niska's dad was the spiritual leader of the group and came from a long line of Wendigo killers. Micah, a young hunter, took his family into the bush to stay alive during a hard winter when Niska was just a girl. It was hard to find food, and everyone was hungry. Micah chose to take a chance in the bush. But there wasn't much game anywhere, so Micah and his family kept staving. Micah's wife saw the Wendigo's tracks outside their lodge. The day Micah died trying to catch fish, the Wendigo came to see Micah's wife and told her it would eat her baby if she didn't feed it. Mitch's wife turned to cannibalism to save her baby, going Wendigo by giving in to the evil spirit. Niska's father had to kill her and her baby when she came back to camp with Micah's body in her pack so that the Wendigo spirit wouldn't spread to the rest of the clan. The Wamistica didn't understand why Niska's dad killed Micah's wife and baby, so they came to arrest him for murder. He died alone in a cell in the Wamistica jail at Moose Factory. Niska tells Xavier stories while Xavier takes more morphine and drifts back to the comfort of old friends. Now that he is back in the war, Corporal Thompson is teaching him and Elijah the art of the sniper. Elijah and Xavier are great at shooting because they are hunters who live off the land. They can also fit in with their surroundings and sneak through no man's land without being seen. Elijah and Xavier look like owls or wolves at night, according to Lieutenant Breach. This is because their Indian blood is more like that of an animal than that of a man. The racist ideas of Lieutenant Breach have an effect on Elijah and Xavier for a long time during the war. Too harsh on them, and he doesn't believe the kills they report from the field. Xavier feels even more alone because he doesn't speak English as well as Elijah. When it becomes clear that Elijah is better at killing and war than Xavier, they start to move apart. Niska sets up camp on the second day of their 3-day trip home. She tries to get Xavier to eat, but he refuses. Poor Niska can't do much to help him, so she keeps feeding him with her story. Niska was told by a local Awawadak from the Turtle clan that a member of their clan had gone into the woods a few weeks ago and come back with a pack full of human meat. This happened a long time ago, when Xavier was still a boy. The elder said that the man had gone crazy and threatened to destroy them all. Niska kills the Wendigo at the Awawadak's camp, just like her father did before her. There is one more, Niska tells Xavier, adding that she is the second to last in a long line of Wendigo killers. Back in the mines, Elijah keeps getting better as a sniper, and the number of proven kills goes up. Elijah can't stop thinking about war and killing, and he's slowly losing his mind. He has even started cutting off the heads of his enemies, a skill he picks up from the French troops. Xavier is sure that Elijah is going crazy. When Grey Eyes tells Lieutenant Breach about Elijah's use of morphine and scalping, Elijah kills both Grey Eyes and Breach to avoid being put on trial. Their unit is being heavily bombed, and Elijah and Xavier are stuck near the German lines. While Xavier looks for the enemy, Elijah turns on him and tries to choke him. The war and the Wendigo finally drove him crazy. Xavier knows what he needs to do. He has to kill his best friend because he is a Wendigo killer like Niska. Near the end of Niska and Xavier's trip home, Xavier runs out of morphine and starts to pull away. He can't stop shaking and is in so much pain that it looks like he will definitely die. While Niska is building a Matatosoan, she drags Xavier into the hot rocks to make him sweat. Through praying and steam, Niska calls on Gitchy Manitou to clean Xavier. Xavier takes responsibility and asks for forgiveness for his part in Elijah's death by the third round of the Matatosoan, and his fever starts to go down. When Niska and Xavier crawl out of the Matatosoan for the last time, Xavier is calm. Her yellow eyes gaze upon Niska as she curls up next to Xavier in front of the fire. Niska thinks, "We'll be home by tomorrow." Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.